The Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG is not just a vehicle, it's an icon, a statement, and a masterpiece that has stood the test of time. Imagine finding one abandoned, left to decay for decades, forgotten under layers of dust and rust. Now picture bringing it back to life, giving it a second chance to roar down the road with its unmistakable power and style. That's the journey of this restoration project, a legendary G-Wagon that had been neglected for almost 50 years. What follows is a story of patience, dedication, craftsmanship, and passion for reviving one of the world's most powerful luxury SUVs. When the abandoned G63 AMG was first discovered, it looked nothing like the beast it once was. The paint had faded, the body was scarred with rust, the interior had collapsed, and the engine, once a handcrafted AMG masterpiece, was nothing more than a lifeless chunk of metal. Many would have written it off as a pile of scrap, but for a true car enthusiast, this was not the end. It was the beginning of something extraordinary. The mission was clear: to restore this forgotten Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG back to its former glory. The first step was the complete teardown. Every piece of the vehicle, from the body panels to the nuts and bolts, had to be stripped away. Years of neglect had left the chassis corroded, and the suspension was completely destroyed. The wiring system was a maze of broken connections and chewed-up insulation. It was a daunting sight, but no great restoration ever comes easy. Piece by piece, the G-Wagon was dismantled until nothing but the bare skeleton remained. From there, the real work began. The bodywork was one of the most challenging phases. Rust had eaten deep into the metal, so sections of the body had to be cut out and replaced with fresh steel. Precision welding ensured the structure remained strong and safe. The legendary boxy shape of the G-Wagon was carefully brought back to life, preserving its rugged personality while preparing it for a new chapter. Once the repairs were complete, the body was sanded, smoothed, and primed for paint. Choosing the paint color was no small decision. The goal was to make this restored G63 AMG stand out, yet retain the classic elegance of a Mercedes. After much thought, a deep glossy black was chosen, an intimidating shade that reflects both luxury and power. The painting process required extreme care. Layer after layer of premium automotive paint was applied, followed by a mirror-like clear coat that gave the SUV its timeless shine. When the paintwork was finished, the G-Wagon already looked like a different machine, reborn, refreshed, and powerful even before the engine came back to life. But the exterior was only one part of the journey. The interior was an equally massive challenge. Inside, decades of abandonment had left everything destroyed. The once luxurious leather seats were torn, the dashboard cracked, and the electronics were dead. Every part of the cabin had to be rebuilt from scratch. New handcrafted leather seats were installed, featuring red stitching to give a sporty contrast against the black interior. A custom AMG steering wheel was fitted, alongside a modern digital display that blended seamlessly with the classic G-Wagon dashboard layout. The sound system was upgraded to a high-end setup, ensuring that the revived G63 would not only look and drive like new but also deliver an unmatched driving experience. Next came the heart of the beast, the engine. The original 5.5-liter V8 biturbo engine had been silent for far too long. It was carefully disassembled, inspected, and rebuilt with brand new AMG components. The turbochargers were replaced, the pistons and cylinders restored, and every mechanical system was recalibrated. After weeks of work, the engine was ready for its first test. The moment the ignition key turned and the V8 roared back to life was nothing short of magical. That thunderous AMG exhaust note echoed like a resurrection, proof that the G-Wagon was back. But restoring the engine was not enough. The suspension, brakes, and drivetrain also needed complete overhauls. High-performance AMG suspension components were fitted to give the SUV its signature handling capabilities. The braking system was upgraded with AMG carbon ceramic discs, ensuring that the massive SUV could stop as fiercely as it could accelerate. Brand new 22-inch AMG wheels wrapped in performance tires gave it a dominating stance on the road. The G-Wagon was now not just restored but enhanced, combining the classic boxy look with modern performance upgrades. Attention to detail was key in every step. Even the smallest parts, like the door handles, mirrors, and lights, were restored to perfection. The headlights were upgraded to LED technology, giving the SUV a modern presence while still respecting its vintage appeal. The chrome trim was polished to a mirror shine, and the AMG badges were carefully reapplied, symbolizing the rebirth of this automotive legend. Finally, after months of blood, sweat, and countless hours of craftsmanship, the fully restored Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG stood ready. From a lifeless shell forgotten for half a century, it had transformed into a shining example of automotive excellence. Driving it for the first time after restoration was an emotional moment. The steering was precise, the engine roared with authority, and the luxury of the cabin wrapped around like a cocoon of comfort. It was not just a car anymore, it was a statement, a testament to the power of passion and dedication. The restored G63 AMG is more than a machine, it is history reborn. Every curve of its body, every roar of its engine, and every stitch in its interior tells the story of a forgotten legend brought back to life. Restoring an abandoned vehicle like this is not just about mechanics or aesthetics, it's about breathing life into something that had been written off, giving it a second chance to shine. The Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG is an icon that deserves nothing less, and through this restoration, it has once again claimed its rightful place as the king of luxury off-roaders. Today, when people see this G-Wagon driving down the road, they see more than just a luxury SUV. They see resilience, craftsmanship, and passion. They see the triumph of restoration over abandonment. And most importantly, they see the timeless spirit of the Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG, reborn, restored, and ready to dominate the roads once again. This restoration wasn't just about fixing a car. It was about reviving a legend. And that's what makes this project one of the most satisfying and rewarding journeys ever undertaken. The once forgotten G63 AMG now shines brighter than ever, proving that true icons never die, they simply wait for the right hands to bring them back to life.